Hi guys. So, I am going to be honest. I'm probably going to cry, and that's why I look like crap right now because I have been crying. Um, First, I would like to I'm not doing an intro. I'm not doing any of that. This is important. I'm going to drop in the link to let me see how I can share it. So this is George from CavDev's Twitter, and I'm also going to drop in his link because he has made a website, sort of, and it is kind of like Wikipedia. Um, he spends a lot of time, I'm certain a lot of money out of his own pocket to get information about these things that some people have never even heard of. Um, yeah, I had a feeling that something was going to be in those minutes. I didn't think it was going to be this, but I'm going to show you guys because he literally just sent it to me maybe like an hour and a half ago. Obviously, I called Mike in Virginia because I was very overwhelmed. And I know that they are more familiar with this feeling as far as, you know, being very overwhelmed by the truth. But like when you have a hunch. So I'm going to show you guys all of the meeting minutes specifically because not only are we going to finally see RMS and M de Grimston Limited, we're going to see Double-E's Limited. We're going to see why we couldn't find them. And then we are going to see specifically that Robert de Grimston was involved with Sharon Tate and that the process had a private meeting specifically about what happened to her. And, people can say that, like, I'm stupid or whatever, but I've told you guys that I felt that something was wrong. And now I know that something was wrong. There's something very, very, very wrong here, specifically. And these people are, you guys are just gonna have to excuse my language tonight. These people are fucking monsters. These people are fucking monsters. Because once I get everything else, because he sent me so much. He sent me so much. And I have so much to tell you guys. But, I'm so fucking mad. And I'm so angry for her. And for her family. Sorry, guys. And that baby. These people are wicked. They're absolutely wicked. Do you know how many police reports are out there saying that the process absolutely did this? There's so many. I'm sitting there reading them. There's so many. And there's an email, and Like, it's the guy who funded Best Friends in Utah, like, the original Best Friends, like, it was the Church of Scientology. That guy's in prison right now. The guy who set it up, he's in prison for a Ponzi scheme. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? So now as far as Miss Leah Remini wanting to sit there and say that Best Friends isn't associated and ignore these animal rights activists, I don't think so. I don't think so, because I'll show you guys that part too. Somebody just needs to remind me, please. But let's go through these minutes because they're important. This is important because literally, this woman, and I'm not writing off what happened to Abigail Folger or Wojciech Frykowski or Stephen Parent. But what they did to her and that baby. These people are fucking terrible. And it is time. It is time for the truth to come out. So let me make sure. And everybody, please go follow George from CavDef. I am asking that as a personal favor. He does not ask anybody for anything. I dropped it in there. Please share his account. George is very important. He did not ask me for anything. Please, it would mean a lot to me. Because how long ago was this? All right, let me make sure I'm on page 1. So here we go. We're going to see the pre-process, right? I have to do the whole window. Okay, here we go. Let me make sure this is popping up. All right, can you guys see that? Just put like a 1 or I don't know, a thumbs up or a smiley face or something. I'm going to zoom in. I know it's kind of hard to read. So right here, we have the formation of RMS and MA de Grimston, February 28th, 1966. So here's the memorandum of the Association of RMS and MA de Grimston Limited. The objects for which the company is established are to conduct, carry on, publish, disseminate, and apply any and all kinds of processes and research with reference to the human body, mind, spirit, and soul in all their ramifications. To carry on the business of printers, engravers, publishers, book and print sellers, book binders, art journalists, newspaper and magazine proprietors, news agents, journalists, literary agents, and stationers in all their branches. Right here, the share capital of the company divided into shares includes Mr. Solly, the solicitor. Mr. Solly is the individual who picked up Sabrina Vernay and Tessa Ventris and Jonathan DePire when they were out in the Bahamas. So don't you think that's kind of weird that he's getting a cut of their company? But maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. The following shall be the first directors: Robert Morse, Sylvester de Grimston, and Mary Ann de Grimston, dated February 28th, 1966. Here we go. 1968, January 1st. Balfour Place in Mayfair. Members of the organization known as the process. This is the agenda circulated to all members 1 month in advance to decide whether or not to change the name and title of the organization known until now as the process to the process - Church of the Final Judgment, to receive and consider a document entitled Proposed Constitution of the Process - Church of the Final Judgment. This document having been circulated to all members with this agenda. It was then proposed by Miss Isabel Rennie. That is her name. I showed you guys the one that I, didn't know what her name was. It just said Isabel advocate for Jehovah, I think, and then Mr. Anthony Fenton. Let's see if this works. Okay, here we are. We're on page 2, yeah? Okay. Henceforth, the name and title of the org, known as the process, can be changed to the process dash Church of the Final Judgment. Please pay attention to the dash Church of the Final Judgment, because Church of the Final Judgment now literally lines up with what George Clinton was saying, in my opinion. It was then proposed by Miss Geraldine Brown and seconded by Mr. Andrew Castle to adopt the proposed constitution as the constitution of the process dash Church of the Final Brow. Yeah? And as its founding document. Here we go. You guys, we already know most of these names, but now I know who Geraldine Brown is because she was in the Bahamas. Now I know that she's Mother Lilith. We already know who Wendy is. That's Wendy Peach. Yeah, we know DePire. We know Eckhoff. We know Mountain. We know Fripp. And we know Castle. Okay. Now, right here. Whoop. Okay. This is appointing who is going to be who. Yeah. And right here, Mr. Bernard Solly, the same man who went to the Bahamas or whatever Stuhl to pick up the kids, all of a sudden now he is the solicitor and legal advisor of the church. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. The present locations of the chapters: London, New Orleans, San Francisco. It would soon be appropriate to close New Orleans and San Francisco and establish ones in LA and New York and also in Germany. It was decided to authorize these masters now serving in the U.S. to carry out these decisions as they affect them in accordance with the requirements of the situation. And they are going to establish a chapter in Mannheim. Here we go. In about 1 month's time. And here in Baton Rouge. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, here we go. Specifically talking about New York City. We already know about Aaron Tubal-Cain, Joel Maximilian, because this is when they have 2 names. So at least now I've narrowed it down to an accurate time frame. Then they're going to close LA and New York and move everybody to Europe, right? And Rotterdam and Germany and blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Remember Dudley's Limited? So here's the change. Special Resolution RMS and MA de Grimston Limited passed 10th of December, 1968. That the name of the company be and hereby is changed to Dudley's Limited. So Christopher DePire is a dirty-ass liar. He lied in those court records. He said that these companies took place before. Because you guys remember that. I was looking everywhere. He said that these companies were before the process. Because he's right there as the director. Now, zoom out and go to the next one. There we go. The directors of Dudley's. Oh, look at that. It's the exact same people that we've been talking about. Isn't that interesting? Yeah? So what was Dudley's? It was the assets and liabilities for the process. So all of these people have been lying this entire time. Oh, and look, we've also got Maloney here way before anybody ever put her involved with the church. Tell me how he doesn't remember that these companies dissolved in 1971 and that court case was in 1974. And look at how many shares he had. You can't tell me, you cannot be a serious person and tell me that he did not remember that 3 years later when they knew that this lawsuit was coming up. Yeah? This is where I'm going to get upset. So it is what it is. Meeting of the Council of Masters on March 1st, 1969. I'm not going to read everything at the top. It was decided to establish a chapter in Rome, Italy, and after a suitable interval, a chapter in Paris, France. They closed the Germany chapter. The masters now serving in Germany were authorized to implement these decisions in accordance with the requirements of the situation. The council recorded that Mother Morse Batista was ordained to the priesthood of the church. They decided to officially register the church with the charity commissioners. And this last fucking sentence, right here. Sharon Tate was in Rome beginning in March, and de Grimston was in Rome with Sharon Tate. Somebody tell me that that doesn't matter. This is the same year that Sharon Tate was murdered. So all of a sudden, it doesn't seem so relevant to me, whether they were in California or not. What the fuck was Robert de Grimston doing in Rome with Sharon Tate? That's what I want to know. And nobody can tell me that Polanski didn't know what the hell was going on. Because he was not in the States. Remember? Because she was begging him to come home. Because he was working on that stupid movie, The Day of the Dolphin, that Wojciech Frykowski was literally doing research for him on. Here we go. Blah, 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 blah. Next page. Shit. Excuse my language. And then tell me why they're having a meeting after Sharon Tate's murdered. Nobody's going to be able to give me a good answer. Nobody. Yes, and JC Bring, thank you, Lutefisk. I knew I was forgetting somebody. That was her fiance before. Why was the Process Church of the Final Judgment having a Council of Masters meeting 1 week after Sharon Tate was murdered, and Robert de Grimston was in Rome with Sharon Tate for months leading up to the murder? And they literally closed it. They closed the Rome chapter that week. Are you going to sit there and tell me that this wasn't a cover-up? This is a joke. And this is insulting. This is so insulting. Now, I'm going to show you guys one of many things, because I'm not going to go through every single one right now, where there's literally records of people saying, oh yeah, no, the process did it. They did it. Because I am so fucking mad right now, and I'm sorry. I am very sorry. I am very, very, very upset, because people can think that this doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, these are people that were murdered, and this entire thing has been lied about. And I would just ask everybody to consider, if they think that this does not matter, imagine if it was someone that you loved and they've been dead this long and they were pregnant and stabbed in the stomach, and someone licks their blood off of their finger and makes a show of it. And then the husband, who's too busy doing fuck all and says he's going to come home, doesn't. And then he wants to come home and take a picture in front of the door where her blood still is. And then denies that he made $50,000 selling that to Life magazine or Time magazine, whichever one it is. And he wants to sit there and act like a grieving husband. Maybe it doesn't matter to people. I don't know. It matters to me. She was fucking pregnant, dude. I don't care what people do with their bodies. But, like, literally, she was pregnant. And I understand that Manson said certain things. I understand that. And so did Bobby Beausoleil. I get that. But I already told you guys how I feel about John Phillips. But I am now showing you things that have not been seen before. That Robert de Grimston is in Rome the same year with her for months. And they closed down their Rome chapter a week after those murders. Tell me it's not a cover-up. Here, let's see what these people had to say to the police. Yeah? Let's see what they had to say. Let me make sure that this is the right one. Okay, let me make sure that this is here. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Because there's other murders, right? There's other murders that are going on, so it's not the only thing that they're investigating. August 10th, 1975, in regards to the Gall Sharp murders. So they talked with Larry Larson, reading his notes with his interview with Joel Taylor. Just prior to his trip to London, in regards to the process lawsuit. Yes, we read statements from Larry Larson. He's in those court records. We've seen him. Told Pete Noyes that those who did the killings were process members. This was said in our presence on August 7th, 1975 at the KABC trailer. They went into great detail. Read the screen. Just read the screen, man. These are documents from Ed Sanders' files. That's what this is. It wasn't just Manson. It wasn't just, Sadie, whoever all the other little girls are that shave their head and they're running around singing. That's not what it was. There are a ton of people who walked away from this scot-free. And I already told you guys the other day, because I am well aware, but as you can see, I clearly do not give a single fuck, and I don't, because I have nothing to lose. I've made that very clear. So, I'm going to show you guys this one specifically. Hold on. Because I'm going to show you guys where it says about the Church of Scientology paying for the Best Friends Animal Society. Yeah, take this one to Leah Remini and Mike Rinder and whoever else. Whoever else. Because guess what? After today, seriously, after today, that's what I have to say. It's not about me being right at all. It's not. I'm glad that I got like most of my crying out, because I was very sad for Sharon and her baby and for Sharon's family, because that is just so ugly and cruel to make a show of it like that. I don't care about the stupid conspiracy theories. That stuff does not matter. I told you guys that earlier. This is about getting down to the truth. So seriously, let's take a peek for ourselves, yeah? Because let's see. How old are these emails? I think these are from, I think it said like 2004. Let me see. We're actually going to read you a couple of things because if you would believe it, no, it's 2007. So we're going to read these emails because these are really important. And then, like I said, whoever like SPTV, little Leah Remini fans, whoever the hell you are, go take this to your little princess mascot, and they can ask Rinder or whoever because we're going to read specifically what Charles Manson was doing with the process right before the murders, okay? And then we're going to get some names because apparently this one individual who helped set up, and this is apparently reportedly, but this all checks out as far as I understand. So apparently, allegedly, supposedly, Karen de la Carriere is friends with the individual who's in prison right now for a Ponzi scheme, the man that set this up with the Best Friends Animal Society. This is allegedly, reportedly, supposedly. So I've been right since day fucking one. That's all I'm going to say. Let's go ahead and look. Let's go ahead and look. Here we go. Charles Manson and his contact with the process in San Jose circa 1967. Dear Ed, I understand that you were sued for your allegations that Manson had had contact with the process, but there may be some proof that he did in the files of the San Jose Mercury News. Yes, that is the San Jose Mercury News that the late Gary Webb worked for. Today I ran across the following web page that mentions that the family spent time in San Jose during the summer of 67. What it doesn't mention is that there was a process group in San Jose at that time. I attended one of their meetings. My friend Charles Hindi attended several of them. In the meeting I attended, which took place before the Manson slayings, the group leader made these Manson-like points. There was to be a violent revolution in America, and we'd have to start killing the pigs soon. It was okay to kill people, but not animals. Some months later, just after the Manson killings, the evening edition of the San Jose Mercury News, which was then called the San Jose News, printed a front page headline article that reported that Manson attended the San Jose Process Group before the slaying and had gotten many of his ideas from them. The next morning, the Mercury carried no mention of the article, and I've never seen the article reproduced or mentioned anyplace else since. Ed, if you're interested, I believe the San Jose Mercury might have that old article on microfilm. Best, a Fugs and Ed Sanders fan. Next. Right here. Let's see. So, Ed is asking, can you tell me what specifically led you to write that I've come to believe that the process, which was on the Scientology enemies list, was actually a dark op of Scientology instead? Okay. Today I tried to trace what bits from the web led me to believe that the process was a dark op of Scientology. I can't remember exactly, but let's start here. March 2004, the Rocky Mountain News. We've read that, guys, remember? Best Friends Animal Sanctuary in Kanab, Utah. The process in its latest incarnation. But the process is supposed to be on the Scientology enemies list, right? But if you dig around on the net, you find that Scientology put up the dough to fund Best Friends through member Reed Slatkin, who, years back, took a young Sky Dayton under his wing and gave him the money, and probably the idea to start Earthlink. More recently, Slatkin is behind Dayton's new company, Helio. It's a vacuous Apple ripoff fraud that will eventually make all its employees into Scientologists. Visit them on the net or at the nearest store near you. Ha. My theory is that back in the 60s, Scientology wanted to undermine a competing self-help movement, the hippie movement. They created the process to do this and put them on their enemies list as a cover-up. They also probably knew that the process would result in a number of murders. So it was Scientology who assassinated the 60s. I ask you about the murders between Scientology and the process because such murders might, rather than being out of any rivalry, be a way to shut people to the process origin as a dark op. Any thoughts on that? And let's see, the last page. Yep, that's it. Talking about these other murders of Doreen Gall and James Sharp, which I do believe are other, crimes that I will eventually look into. This isn't going to be super long. Those are other people's words. I get that, like, everybody's worried about, me being YouTube friendly or whatever, and allegedly and supposedly, but, if you were in the Church of Scientology, if you were a member at that time, I'm pretty sure that we can go onto the website where you can check all the courses that people were taking. And again, allegedly, supposedly, these are things that I have been told, but I'm 99% sure that we can cross-reference a lot of this. But here's here's the thing, is that these are other people saying that Scientology funded Best Friends Animal Sanctuary. And apparently that person is in prison for a Ponzi scheme. And the process is tied to Scientology. Period. Period. So, now I don't know what the hell else I have to give people to, consider approaching certain ex-Scientologists and asking why they are telling people to send their hard-earned money to a literal cult. It is a cult. I'm not saying allegedly or supposedly. It's a cult. Go read William Sims Bainbridge. The transmutation of the process, where he says that literally animal advocacy is the natural conclusion, the natural evolution, not a radical conversion. I showed you guys yesterday that there are literally original founding members still working there, including Mary Ann's former second husband. Well, I say former second husband, she died, right? Because remember, Timothy Wiley made a joke about, like, the dogs mauling her to death. And, like, oh, like, doesn't Jehovah have a sense of humor, right? Because as far as I'm concerned, those individuals that are still alive, specifically DePire and I believe Fripp and Castle, those are the people that are still alive that are literally working at the Best Friends Animal Society right now. Right now. Those people were at that fucking meeting. Those people were at that fucking meeting. So I want to know what the hell was said about Sharon Tate at that meeting. Why have they never been questioned? Those people were there. Those people were there. Those people are listed in those meeting minutes. They were there. And they've never said anything. They've never said anything. They've never said anything, and they are so rich. They have multiple planes, right? And this is why I have no fucking respect for people who grift. Because you would rather take money. Do people realize that your money does not go with you when you die? No matter what you believe in, you don't take it with you. It doesn't go with you. And people are willing to do and not do and lie and cheat and steal and murder. And that woman is dead. And her baby's dead. And it was such a long time ago. And they just sit there high on the hog, right? They're just racking in all that money. And Leah Remini is fucking endorsing them. Yeah. I have shown you guys. I have shown you guys. I have shown you guys who is on that board, who is still working there, who is still alive. You have just seen the Council of Masters meeting minutes for yourself, things that were in those court records. And Leah Remini, an ex-Scientologist, is asking people to donate money to names on the Council of Masters meeting minutes from the week that Sharon Tate was murdered. Am I the only one that cares? Like, seriously. At this point, I literally, like, don't see what the fucking point is anymore. Like, why don't people care? I'm clearly not here to, like, be popular, right? Because I'm, like, literally crying, and it's, like, the middle of the night. But I didn't want to wait, and I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep. Why don't people care? If it was you, wouldn't you want somebody to care? If it was you, wouldn't you want somebody to care almost 60 years later? That you and your child were murdered and that it was made a fucking joke? And that now they make movies that lie about all of it? And that the people that know what happened, and they do, the people that know what happened are running an animal charity in Utah. And they're making fucking bank. And they are so selfish that they will never, ever say a word. I don't care if they've grown numb. I don't care. It's not an excuse. Because I can assure you that if this was you or someone that you loved, and I'm not saying this to you, Lazarus, I'm saying this as a generality, people become unnumb real fucking quick when it's them. Or when it's someone that they love. You know what I mean? I just think that this is so ugly. And it's just like such a massive lie. I told George, like, when I saw that page, I was like, "That Sharon Tate and Rome thing breaks my heart," and he said, "Yeah, it broke my heart too, because I know what that means." But, again, I will remind everyone, because I feel that I cannot state it enough, and I will make, like, a PDF or something, that way, and I'll, like, put the links at the bottom where I've shown you guys, right? Sorry. Where I've shown you guys who's still on the board at Best Friends. And I will show the photo of those meeting minutes. And I will show Leah Remini's website. And people can ask or not. Because obviously I was worried about, the animal stuff, you know, and I still am. Yeah, there's too much to lose by doing the right thing for them. Absolutely, Labyrinth, you're right. I don't know. You're not taking this stuff with you. You know what I mean? None of this goes with you. But I just think about, like, what Sharon's parents went through. And it's not just Sharon, it's everybody else, because, sorry, you guys just saw that. Manson was with the process right before the murders. When he was supposed to be at the Esalen Institute, because they just finished that part of the book, of Ed Sanders' book. He was apparently at the Esalen Institute, right? No. He was doing shit with the process in San Jose, because they did have a chapter in San Jose. Oh, who else was in San Jose? Victor Wilde with the Gypsy Jokers. Yeah, remember that? Yeah, now it's all starting to come together, right? I think, like, the only thing that I can hope from this, A, somebody needs to get Leah Remini's attention. Little Miss, thinks that she's hot shit. And she thinks that she's tough because she's got, like, claw nails and she can do, like, an accent from the East Coast, right? And she swears a lot. So literally that, all of a sudden she's tough. Okay. Somebody needs to get her attention. But I also hope that, like, really, I obviously have a lot more work to do. I really, really, really hope that people will just seek the truth. It's like, who the fuck am I? I'm literally just like a random person in the woods, right? In Florida. Like, I'm not special. I'm not doing anything special. Like, my life is super fucked up right now. Like, my life is really bad right now. But, like, this is important to me. And I just wish that the truth was more important to other people. And that people would understand that there's a balance between conspiracy and truth, and at the end of the day, these things cause real harm. Because, Sharon's family was lied to the whole time. And all those people knew. And they still know because they're still in Kanab. Because now that I have this, if anybody thinks that I'm not going to absolutely raise hell online, you would be mistaken. And you would be mistaken. Because let's not forget, I have some of those people's naturalization papers. I've shown you guys their naturalization papers. I can prove that it's them and that they were there. So they know what that meeting was about, and they know that Grimston was in Rome with Sharon right before her murder. Yeah, I don't have any excuses for Leah. I don't care. I don't care. I think that, chalking things up to Hollywood is giving people a pass. I think that when people chalk it up to that, it's giving people a pass. And I think that this crime helped facilitate that idea, that concept. That's just how it goes in Hollywood. Right? It's Hollywood. It is what it is, right? No, wrong. Because you can be in the bright lights 1 minute and you can be fucking out of them real quick, right? Yeah, nothing's guaranteed. That's just life for anybody. But again, why is Leah Remini telling people to send their money to literally a Scientology cult that I have now factually proven was in the same room? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't have the answers here. I'm upset for Sharon. I'm upset for her baby. I'm upset for Sharon's parents. I'm upset for all of those victims that were in that house. Because at the end of the day, that was a pregnant mother. And they made a mockery of her death, and so did Roman Polanski. They made a huge mockery of the death of her and her child. And hopefully now you guys understand that literally, this is just like one crime, right? Technically. That was at least, 12 process members? So there were 12 people that walked away knowing what happened and they didn't do anything and they didn't get punished. Because this is literally like just the tip. This is just the tip. There's so much more. There's so much more that I have to show you guys. Like, George did an amazing job and he sent me a big file, but this was too important to wait. It's just too important to me. Because people run around and, lie and profit off of other people's pain, right? But she's dead. They're all dead. And nobody can speak up for them, and they certainly cannot speak up for themselves. I don't give a shit if they're celebrities. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care. It's completely irrelevant. And I have shown you guys now, I hope, that it is completely irrelevant. So, we have a long way to go. But I hope that everybody will consider all of the things that I have shown you. And, maybe like be the person that, changes things, grow a set. I'm talking to everybody, including myself. Um, I get like not wanting to be confrontational, but like maybe grow a pair and call it out when you see people doing this like true crime BS. Yeah, that would be my suggestion, is to just completely cut it out. Speak up for them. Because because these Ed Sander files were just released, guys. There's a reason for that, and I don't know what the hell it is. But literally, these people have been hidden from the entire world of what was done to them and who knew. So, maybe be different, try to make the world better. Literally, just say something. Because it's not okay. It's not okay. And, it's not the true crime community's fault that these files were just released. But you guys have seen this now. You guys are going to see more. And so I would just highly encourage everybody, grow a fucking set. Don't be scared of being unpopular. Don't be scared of being uncomfortable, and fucking say something. Because if it was someone that you loved, or someone that you knew, or God forbid if it was you would want somebody to say something. It matters. It matters.